Hello, and welcome to our new podcast. This is the first episode of our podcast. This will be the first episode that we are doing. We did do a trial run. It was about 40 minutes long, but we didn't put an intro or anything on it. So maybe we might include snippets of that. We don't know. We're going to ramble, really, generally, on general subjects with general thoughts about general things and general things that have happened to us. So...
welcome to the podcast. Today we'll be talking about cars, crashes, Rufus, Mount Rushmore, police brutality, the gender pay gap, and...
I can't remember.
No, I can't remember either.
You had a little bit of paper, didn't you?
Yeah, I've just read that. I didn't write anything down while we were talking.
Oh, well, we're talking about stuff like that. We didn't really go into the gender pay gap because we don't really have any knowledge on it. And then... we started talking about Trump. We don't really have any knowledge on that either.
So next week we'll talk about something that we've got knowledge on. So it'll be a quick show.
Because it's the first one, I wouldn't expect to be blown away or anything. But might be all right. Don't know. It's free, isn't it? You can download it. Anyway, my name is Rob, and I'm here with my friend Nadine.
Hi!
And we're just generally going to talk about stuff. We made a little plan. Well, Nadine's made a plan. I don't really know what it consists of.
I haven't showed it to you yet.
But we'll just talk about stuff, and this will be our first one, and we'll see how it goes, and then I suppose we'll take it away, and we'll take out the bits we don't like and put it out. So
what have you been up to today, this week, Rob?
Today, I've been awake a good 20 minutes.
But this week in general.
I've had to try and get my car back on the road, which I'm supposed to be sorting out today. It's very expensive. I was shocked at how expensive it was. It blew my mind. Just to get on the road. £600 insurance it was.
That's quite a lot for such a small car.
It is. It's because I haven't got any no claims bonus because I've been driving my classic car. And that doesn't rack up points.
Do you not get no claims? Does it not count if it's a classic
car? No, you don't get anything. It costs like £80 a year to keep my car on the road, and then when they told me that it was going to cost me £600, I was blown away.
I would be too. Mine doesn't cost that much.
Yeah, the only thing I've done this week, really, made some labels. I got annoyed with my children because they were banging on about labels, and I don't want to spend £4 on ketchup or whatever it is. So I...
Why do you need to label ketchup? Where's the...
Because I don't want to be one of those arseholes that takes ketchup and puts it in like a Heinz thing. You know, there's people that they take cheap ketchup and then they put it into like branded products.
People do that?
Yeah.
Who are they trying to kid?
People who come around their house or whatever.
I can tell the difference between
Well, I'm not
Heinz
prepared to do that
ketchup.
anyway. Because I'm against it rather than, wanting to aspire to it and unable to do it. So I scan the label in, and then I got pictures of my children standing by, like they were presenting something with their arms out, like they're chefs or something, and then I photoshopped them onto their own labels, and I made cans of beans with William on it called Loads of Beans, and I made ketchup with Ella, presenting Ella's ketchup, and it was good.
These are in your kitchen now?
Yeah.
I need to see these.
I should have it. It's just I was bored. So just that we have different labels in our kitchens. If you have something off us, then it's probably going to be with a label on it from one of the children.
So I don't understand, Rob. Why?
Because it was an idea that I had that I thought was hilarious, and I just did it. That's what motivated people do.
Motivated people make their own food labels.
Yeah. And
put them on their ketchup.
Yeah.
And beans.
Yeah. It's a little laugh, isn't it?
I've been doing motivation wrong my entire life.
No, it's because it did give them a tiny thrill for a minute. This dog is so annoying.
Rufus isn't annoying. Come here, Rufus. Oh, oops. Oh dear. Right, hang on. Right, lift your leg up.
Rufus!
There we go. Right. Now sit down. Lie down. Oh, there is a third member of our podcast, and his name's Rufus, and he is a good boy. Yes, he is. Are you a good boy?
He's not a good boy. He won't sit down. He's really irritating. I'm going to have to kick him out and put him in the kitchen if he doesn't lie down.
No, he'll lay down.
What have you written down in your bit of paper? Why have you got to go to the wetlands?
Yeah, well, like I was telling you earlier, I got to go to the wetland centre today because I need to do an experiment. Right. Did I remember when we were in work and I said that I had a big lump on my leg and it was really itchy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've had several of those and some of them are really, really big, right? and they're really, really itchy. And I think what they are mosquito bites. And I think it's a delayed reaction to mosquito bites because I always get them the day after. I get a new batch the day after we get back from the wetland centre. And I know that there's mosquitoes there because I saw one on my jacket and there's lots of like stagnant water and that's what mosquitoes like. And I was doing a bit of research and I believe I have what's called skeeter syndrome.
Why?
Which is basically an allergic reaction to mosquito bites. And you get these massive red lumps and they're delayed by like a day or two. So I'm going to go to the wetland centre today and... I'm going to have bare arms, hence why I've got a t-shirt on, and I'm going to see if I can get myself bitten by some mosquitoes. I want to see them biting me, and then I'm going to monitor the reaction and see if I'm right.
I thought you were going to go for some kind of treatment or something.
What for?
I don't know. That's where you said I've got some mosquito bites. I thought, well, she's heading back to the wetland centre for advice on what to do with these terrible things. Not, I'm going to go and get Lord Morob. See what happens.
It's to see if I'm right. Because if I'm not right, then something's been biting only my legs, and it's really weird. Because they're really itchy. My legs are like on fire constantly, and it's not fun. So I'm going to go out and get my arms done.
I wanted to go
for science.
I wanted to go to the wetlands centre.
It's really good.
Yeah, I said to the children, they were all like, "No, we've been. It's fine." You're like, "Oh, good."
The ducks that eat the seed right out of your hand. Where else can you go and get a duck or a goose that are eating seeds right out of your hand? I think that's all I've really done this week. I found out when I'm going to be leaving work. Gonna sort out some passports.
Me and Nadine, or Nadine and I, are both being made redundant. I am being made redundant sooner. I'm going on Sunday. Then there's like a week, and then I'm going to start a new job, which might be a nightmare because I'm part-time at the moment, and I'm really worried because maybe I quite like to have a nap in the middle of the day. And
you're going to miss that afternoon nap.
Just the pressure's off, isn't it? Once you're up, you always think, I can always be in bed by 1 o'clock if I'm really tired, and then you come home and you think, I won't go to sleep. But the idea that you can go to sleep is quite good.
It's comforting.
So then the fact that I won't be able to go to sleep, and then I'll have to come home and deal with all the stuff that I generally deal with in a day, and then go and play. You're like, there is no time for sleep. Mm-hmm. What am I going to do? Where's the milling round
like
time?
A normal person.
Yeah, but I mean, it's only a full-time job, and loads of people do it, so I don't think anybody will be sitting there going, "Oh, poor guy, he's got to work, 8 hours a day? Oh, what a nightmare."
But that's one of your jobs, though, isn't it? You do a few different things.
Yeah, but it'll be all day, so I don't know. And then what happens if something goes wrong? Like today, I got middle of the day, I can go and check out the car. It's your fault for constantly scratching him, so he constantly thinks it's on the cards.
Oh, but it is. I think I need a dog. I like the idea of an animal in my life that just looks at me the way he does and does what he's told, and all he wants is his belly scratched, a head rub,
I told you
and
you're a
maybe
dog
some
person.
meat.
And you were all like, no, I like cats. And then I see you post about cats on Facebook saying, blah, 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 cat, I'd eat my face off. And you think, why have you got this awful thing?
Well, Bruce is a long story. But I don't really like cats. I'm not a cat person, but I kind of like one of my cats. The other one's a prick.
I think you'd like a dog.
I think I
probably
would.
It and everything.
I know, we could go for walkies, and we could eat steak together. And yeah, I think I might have to get myself a dog one day.
Do it, get a dog.
I'll wait. The cats are getting old now. I'll wait until they've gone.
Well, they're saying that. Yesterday, I got this tendency to constantly step in shit. I don't know what it is. I do it like some people never do it. I do it all the time. If there's a bit of shit on the floor, I will step on it. I'll find some way of doing it. It's incredibly irritating. It's only made better by the fact that I bought that almond floor cleaner, which was worth it. Well, I don't know if it was worth it because it was £3. Yeah, see how tight I am. Right? So the ketchup, but it's like £3, and when I got it home, I realised that it wasn't even like something that you pour in a bucket. It's already diluted. So it's already made. So it's £3 for like that bottle.
I love the fact that you think £3 for a floor cleaner is like absurd.
It's absurd.
It's
Why
like
would I pay
general.
that?
What do you normally clean?
Because when you look in comparison to
like
other
fairy
products,
liquid.
Yeah, like if you were just going to buy like average Asda floor cleaner or something, you'd get like a litre of it or something for 50p or whatever.
I've never bought that stuff. I like.
But it all smells the same, doesn't it? It all smells medicine-y.
And no, it doesn't. It's like it's like cheap food. It all tastes like really chemically and stuff.
Oh, see, I think you're wrong. If anything,
you like cheap sausages.
No, yeah. If anything, I benefit from that whole structure because, like, that ketchup that I bought a kilogram for like £1 something, and because it's not full on, it's like a mild ketchup. It's like ketchup light. And you're like, oh, this doesn't taste half as vinegary. Or
I like vinegary though.
No, I'm not up for that.
I like vinegary and sweet when it comes to ketchup. Have you been to McDonald's recently? They do a new kind of ketchup dip. It's a rich ketchup dip, and it tastes like a bolognese sauce or something.
No.
It's got like herbs in it and things.
No.
I'm not sure. I accidentally had some the other day, and I don't know what to think of it.
I haven't been to McDonald's in ages.
I don't really like McDonald's. If I'm being completely
McDonald's.
Other burger places are available.
No.
You like McDonald's,
I
don't
think
you?
you're hit with the same kind of advertising standards that radio and
just covering our asses, Rob. You might
say
thank me one day.
I love McDonald's. I think it's brilliant. I like the fact that it's open until all night.
That's good.
And I always think that I'm going to be buying a tremendous amount of stuff, and I always get disappointed when I come out with one bag. Like I buy like 2 double cheeseburgers and large chips, and you think that, well, that sounds like a lot, and you get it. It's just like, oh, I could bang through this again. You
know what really surprises me about McDonald's?
What?
I go, right, and if I'm going to McDonald's, I'm normally getting food for the kids and Kerry. Kerry's my husband, and I seem to order so much food, and yet it always comes to about £12. Like can I have one of these, and some of that, and one of these, and then it doesn't matter what I order, whether it's just like one meal for one person or food for everybody, it always seems to come to about £12.
I'm very disappointed,
and I find that kind of mind blowing.
They don't have more desserts.
You got
an option of an apple pie, which nobody eats, do they?
The festive pie is good when they bring that out. Have you had that?
Yes, I have. There was a raspberry one or something that wasn't so long ago. A raspberry and custard, rhubarb and custard, something like that. That was really nice. And then it stopped. It was like discontinued. And I was very disappointed with that because I liked it. But that's what they do in a donut and a muffin. And I'm not paying like 80p for a donut. It's not going to happen.
Well, I've never had a donut or a muffin from McDonald's. But
like
imagine
80p.
the shit.
I used to buy them all the time. I used to buy them frozen when I lived, with my parents, and I didn't care about money and that. And Rufus! And I used
trying to eat the desk.
I used to, like 80p, and I used to go and I used to buy like 4 frozen donuts, and then they just slowly thaw as I was, going away.
Cool story,
so
bro.
You could have them all the time. Well,
but they're ice cream. I like the McFlurries. I think that's probably the best thing about a McDonald's, isn't it?
Smarty McFlurry coming in a bit.
Haven't they always had a Smarty McFlurry?
No, it went away. It was like McRib. It's one of those things. I think they try and build excitement with it.
Like Monopoly game.
I've never won anything on Monopoly.
No, I've won a few instant wins.
Oh no, tell a lie.
Them.
This years and years ago when they first started doing it, I got Park Lane, and like you do when you first buy something, you just lob it. My room used to be filthy, right? So it was really filthy.
When you say your room, what are you referring to?
When I lived with my parents.
Oh, right, your bedroom.
That's how long ago, yeah? And it wasn't filthy as in dirty, but it was just loads and loads of stuff all over the floor and mess, yeah?
That sounds like filth, yeah.
Yeah, but not like filth. It's not like you walk... Like, I had a friend, right? And he had a matte black room, and I remember somebody had vomited in the corner of his room, and he just left it. He just left it there, and it was there for about 5 years or something like that, yeah? No, I know, that's filth, isn't it, yeah?
That's right.
Yeah, so this was... He found a marathon bar under his bed one day. This was like 10 years after it had become Snickers, yeah? So, anyway, so it's not filthy, it was just dirty. Anyway, so the point was, I got the ticket thing, and I just threw it on the floor, like you do, and it was Park Lane, and I was like, And then a couple of weeks later, or days later, or whatever, yeah, I got Mayfair. So I could have won a Mini. So me and my best mate Mark, we cleaned my entire room trying to find this ticket, and we didn't find it. And that's the only thing I've ever won, which is the main thing, which is there was a Mini or something at the time, and then I didn't win it. I know, it's disappointing, isn't it?
I can't imagine you driving a Mini anyway, but you could have sold that Mini.
I'd have driven a Mini. Why wouldn't I have driven a Mini? I'd look right fashionable man about town. Poop poop. It'd be awesome.
I'd stick with your Land Rover if I were you.
It doesn't matter. I'd drive that Toyota Starlet. I love it.
It's a good car. It's nippy.
Yeah, it's really close to the ground. Makes you feel like you're in a go-kart and stuff.
That's what Kerry said. You got to watch out for banana skins, though.
Why?
It's a Mario Kart reference. Never mind, Rob.
Play computer games.
Somebody would have found that hilarious.
I doubt.
Sure.
I tell you what I did download yesterday.
What?
I downloaded.
You mean bought legally from a reputable supplier?
Yeah.
What did you buy?
I bought Hereditary, and then I haven't watched it.
What's that about?
It's a horror film. Well, I watched this film
seen
called Ghost Stories, and it wasn't scary at all when I was watching it. And I'm not particularly scared of films anyway. It's not like a big deal. But then I was sleeping in bed, obviously, and I got really freaked out. I was like, oh, there's that guy with the hood and and I was like, oh, this is terrible. I had to call Rufus in. I thought, I'm on my own. If there's a dog, at least, the dog will be here and it'll be the two of us. But then it was just me on my own in this dark room. And I thought, oh, this is terrible. What am I going to do? And then I thought twice about Hereditary because I thought, well, that sounds... They keep making out like it's The Exorcist or something. I thought, I couldn't watch something like The Exorcist on my own now.
I stopped my kids watching scary things right before they go to bed. But
No,
you're a grown-ass man, Rob.
No, you let your son watch Thriller when he was like 4 or 5
Yeah,
or something.
guess what? Not scarred for life.
Yeah, you say that.
Because he's not a pussy, Rob.
Yeah, you say that. It was very scary. I remember back in 1985, back in the midst of time, it was terrifying. Did I tell you what happened? I'll tell you what happened, right? I went to, I had this friend, right? And he was like Ethiopian, I think. So his name was like Paul something I couldn't pronounce. So we called him Paul Kiravanigan. But it probably wasn't that.
Because that was easier to pronounce than his name?
Yeah.
Kiravanigan.
Kiravanigan, yeah. That was much easier. Because his name was actually something like Kiravanigan. And we were like,
Could you just stick with Paul?
Well, we did, yeah. He was called Big Paul, because there was another Paul on my estate called Little Paul. Right? But we went round to Paul Kiravanigan's house. This was just around the same time as The Spectrum came out. And anyway, we all trundled into his house, because we were all kids on the estates, and there must have been some like 15 of us. And I stepped in shit. Right? As I walked into his house, I didn't mean to, obviously. And I walked up.
Always good to make a good first impression when visiting someone's house.
Well, I've been there before, yeah, but this is like the first time you're going into his living room, and there was all of us, yeah, and we all sat there. We were going to watch Thriller because it had just come out and stuff. And I must have been like one of the youngest ones, and they were all, like estate kids. They were all like 5, 6 old, big gang, and they all sat there and we watched this film and everything, and people were like, what's that smell? I was like, I don't know. And,
no.
and,
it was you.
yeah, they carried on, yeah, and but then when that part came, where his eyes went yellow, yeah, and I just run out of the flat. I run downstairs, run straight out of the house, and then I was standing outside, crying.
How old were you?
Like 5, 6, something like whatever it came out, yeah. And I was all like, and I was expecting everybody to be like, oh, Rob, is that scary? And everybody came out and went, you left shit all over the floor. And I was like, with the yellow eyes. And they were all like, and they all went mental. They went proper, because he had like a white carpet or something like that, like a beige white carpet.
Who the fuck is a white carpet? Who thought that was a good idea?
People who are clean.
But, I think I'm fairly clean, but even I go for a laminate, I would never choose a white carpet.
Oh no, I've got that as like a...
They were asking for shit to be walked through their house.
I got a full-on memory. It was terrible. And not just like the mum shouted, the mum, the dad, him, my sister, everybody. Terrible it was, lady.
Did they have a dog or anything? Like,
No.
was it at least their own dog shit?
No, they were like Ethiopian. They weren't into stuff like that, dogs and pets.
Do you
and that
think
kind of thing.
Ethiopians don't like pets?
I don't think so. As I only know. I was saying this. I
hope there's some Ethiopians listening and they can let us know.
Sitting there with a dog going, what the fuck are they talking about?
I fucking love my dogs.
That's right, with an Italian accent and a dog.
It's me, Mario.
So yeah, I don't know, but I don't think most. I say most people. I don't know tremendous amounts of black people. I know
Ethiopians aren't black, are they?
Who?
Ethiopians.
Yeah.
I'm a millennial. I should know this kind of stuff.
I live in Wales. Don't know. No, it got yeah. But yeah, I only know 2 black people, like and one of them hates dogs, and the other one is too relaxed. I think he's working too hard. He's a computer scientist bloke, so he didn't.
Just ain't got time for a dog.
Dicking around with dogs, he's not.
I don't see how this relates to Ethiopians, but it wasn't even their own dog shit that you traipsed.
Ethiopians, because Paul Kiravanigan is an Ethiopian and he's not into dogs.
I don't know any Ethiopians.
No, I don't know any Ethiopians.
Apart from Paul.
Paul Kirvanigan.
Yeah.
And what's that band called? It might just be called the Ethiopians, and they do that. Whoa, me Israelites, doom, dum, dum. It used to be on an advert.
Oh, I think I recognise
Vitalite.
Yeah.
Vitalite advert.
I didn't know that was a real song.
I think they're called the Ethiopians.
Oh.
I might be right. There's probably an Ethiopian shouting now, going, "It's the only band! It's the only band that's got the Ethiopians in the title." So, yeah. No. But his build has been really scary. His build, like The Exorcist, kind of scary. And I thought, well, I buy into hype I do, which is why... I buy into hype I do. Which is why I'm so easily put off stuff.
And why you like collecting coins and things.
No, there's plenty of hype around the coins. Lots of people are collecting them now. You go into a shop now and ask for special 50p's.
Hence why you do it, because you're easily bought into it.
No, well, I've already bought into it. I'm all midway. I've got all the Beatrix Potter. I've got the other Beatrix Potter from 2017. And then there's the new Beatrix Potter coming up for 2018. There's all them coins with ships on them.
New ones. Oh, yeah, the Mary Rose one. You know, for your leaving gift, I'm buying you that coin, and I'm currently bidding on it on eBay.
Well, now
it was going to be a surprise, but I've ruined it.
You have.
What am I like? But don't go buying it, because I'm working on it. But I've never bid on anything on eBay. I just go for the buy it now option, but I bid on this. And will you let me know if I win?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Say you've won. You don't pay, like, loads. It's not worth anything. It's just that it's just once again.
It's a leaving gift,
It's
Rob.
just once again that I've got the memory of the Mary Rose from 1986 when they went down to dig it up from under the sea, and they brought it up, and it was like a big TV thing.
And
it was
you
on
were there?
Blue Peter. No.
Oh.
It was on Blue Peter and stuff.
Oh, right.
That was my world. I was like watching Blue. Wow, they've dug up the Mary Rose. Mom, they dug up the Mary Rose. And my mum's like, I don't give a fuck about the Mary Rose. And you're like, oh yeah, but the Mary Rose.
Did you make a Tracy Island as well? Or was that before your time?
Tracy Island? What is that?
The island from the puppet.
Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
No,
It was
the
like
nearest
their
I
big
came
mate.
was Stingray. Do you remember Stingray? Stingray.
Yeah,
Stingray.
it was a bit like
Yeah,
Thunderbirds,
so what's
wasn't
that?
it?
That was part of the Sunday morning watching TV programs, part of Little House on the Prairie and Waltons and Stingray and that. And it had Marina, Aquamarina. As if she was like the good-looking puppet that we were all supposed to go, wow, it's a good-looking puppet.
Well, you know, not all puppets are that ugly. Have you seen the new sex robots?
I have. They're
Yeah.
all booked up. Have you seen that? Where have they released them? They've got
Where have you tried to book them?
There's a sex robot
Brothel somewhere.
and they're fully booked up for like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking maybe invest some of my money in a sex robot, and then I can be a pimp for a doll pimp.
That's not
I can
a bad
just drive
idea.
it round to people's houses
Drive
and
it
put
round.
it in the car so that they can have their horrible way with it, and then go like hose it down and drive to the next appointment. I don't know how fussy these dudes are. If they're willing to pay money to shag a doll, maybe you don't even need to hose it down between each appointment.
I think the doll must be quite expensive.
I think they are, but you know, once you've got it, I've got a car. I could, you know, it's a bit weird.
The
but
thing that puts me off with that
no
is
judgment.
you'd have to deal with all these weird, sleazy men.
You'd only have to because what you could do is like wheel it up to the front door, knock, because they could have paid in advance, like buy it via PayPal or
Run
something,
away.
and then sit in the car seat, and then when they're done,
Leave it there with a note saying, "All right, I'm a sex robot. I'm right up for
well,
it."
you could write like, "Hello, David. I believe you've been expecting me. Kiss, kiss," and then you know they can answer the door, and there's this.
Yeah, but if
woman.
we did it, it would still have this buzz running underneath the recording. Hello, David. Bzzz.
No, it could just be a note strapped to it. It doesn't need to speak.
Oh, that's not very good.
Well, you know what? Neither's having sex with a doll. I don't think they're that bothered.
They might be. See, now if I had the internet now, I'd look at how much that costs to buy. Because I bet it's like I bet you we could open a brothel. I bet you there aren't that many brothels of sex robots in this country.
I bet there aren't any.
I bet it was Germany. Because, I mean, I heard about that sleep deprivation tank like 10 years ago, 15 years. It's only now sort of taken off that people are using them. And that's only because Joe Rogan went in it.
Let's have a look on eBay for a sex robot.
I don't
shall
think
we?
you can buy it on eBay.
You can buy everything on
No,
eBay.
eBay
Like,
is-
it says search for anything.
No, but
I'm
eBay.
going to test that theory, Rob.
eBay is where they you know you've used your sex robot. She's all ragged and she's got like a black eye and stuff. And somebody's done something terrible to her, and then they sell it on eBay.
Well, I'm not going to have sex with it, so I don't care. if
Yeah, but
she's-
it'll change. That'll change how much you can charge for it. Do you want to send?
you can only really buy books about sex robots. And a T-shirt that says.
Just type
sex
into Google.
robot.
How much does a sex robot cost?
All right, I'll Google it then.
A new sex robot.
Why are you so fussy? Are you planning on
If I was
testing it?
if I was trying to start a car selling business, I'd want a new car, wouldn't I, to sell? I'm not going to start with, or maybe you're right. Maybe second hand dolls would be where it's at. I'm sure they wouldn't be good though.
Let's have a look at shopping then for sex robots. See how much we need. You can't just buy one. I guess you'd have to go straight to the manufacturer, but they don't just sell them. What about like those real dolls? Would they do instead of an actual robot? Because they're
Then you could just sell inflatable dolls.
Oh no, the real dolls.
If you're in
are
like a really poor area, you could just get like a balloon on a guy, folks. Draw a face on it. That's it. That's our sex robot. An inflatable.
No, I think you'd have to go straight to like the manufacturer for a sex robot.
Well, I can't imagine them costing that much. I can't imagine them costing more than, let's say, 10 grand.
No, I think the real dolls are some. If I remember rightly from a documentary that I watched a while back, UK prices you're talking somewhere between like 4 and 8 grand.
But that's not that bad.
It's
if you
not,
were
is
going
it?
to pimp them out.
But how much could you charge for sex with just a doll?
I don't know. I think
'Cause
they
the
charge
sex
quite a lot in
robot-
that thing is booked
Are
up.
they robots or dolls?
Well, they're robots. It's the same thing, isn't it? Really.
Well, I think one moves and one doesn't.
I don't think they move.
But they're
a lot.
weighted so that it feels like you're. Ew. This is a bad idea.
I don't know.
I think maybe
you've
just
hit
get
on
a job.
I think you've hit on something. I think you're right there. We should be right on the cusp of this. I was listening to Answer Me
We
This.
shouldn't record this because we're giving out all our good ideas.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was listening to Answer Me This, and Ollie Mann was talking about flavoured ice cubes, and I thought that was quite good.
What, like orange ones and things, so it doesn't dilute your drink?
Yeah.
But they already exist. You just freeze juice.
Yeah, but they don't exist commercially, do they? You can't just go and buy like a bag of strawberry ice cubes.
You can buy frozen strawberries though.
You can't buy a bag of frozen avocado flavoured ice cubes, can
I
you?
bet you can.
Sourced locally in London, Camden.
Oh no. But London's not locally. We're not
London's pretty local to us.
on a global scale, but not
Well,
like
if we
a
do this
farmer's market
podcast, it'll be
scale.
all over the world. There'll be people sitting in,
Hopefully not in Ethiopia. With their dogs and cats and their massive amounts of
There's just one
personal
guy
effects.
in a room surrounded by cages of hamsters and things like that going, but I love animals. Still with an Italian accent.
Yeah, why not? I don't know what the Ethiopian accent sounds like. There probably isn't one anyway.
I don't know. I wouldn't risk it in this day and age anyway.
What, trying to do it? No.
I think everybody
I think you're towing a thin line doing a Welsh accent.
oh, no, we're all right with that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
All right then. But
Tidy.
so, any thoughts this week, Rob?
Have I any thoughts?
I've got a question for you to ponder, and I've thought about.
this from your list?
It is. It's from a list of questions that I've been thinking about this week, and I've been thinking about this, and I still haven't managed to answer it myself. Right? If you had to be trapped inside a TV show for 1 month, which show would you choose?
Yeah, you sent me that, didn't you, on Facebook? I saw that, and I thought, I don't know. It'd probably
You've been wondering too.
Well, not really. I had a quick wonder, and then I thought, no, I don't know. It'd probably be Red Dwarf.
But what if you were like a mouse?
If
in
I was a
Red
what?
Dwarf? Well, there's a cat, isn't there? What if you ended up being like a mouse? I don't think you get to
Oh, you
be
mean
yourself.
if I went into a TV show and the plot had already been come up with for me by a story writer,
guess so.
so anything could happen. So
I
if I wanted to
guess
be in the
so.
Brady Bunch or something, I could be like Greg's mate from the shop or something like that.
I don't know, I'm not as old as you. I never watched the Brady Bunch.
Well,
but,
they had a reboot, didn't they, in the 90s? They did 2 films.
I didn't
they were
watch
quite
those
good.
either.
He sang a song on stage. He got up on the stage. 'Cause they did this film in the 90s, right? It was really good. They did this film in the 90s where it was like the Brady Bunch in the 90s. So they were all like, hey, we're in the Brady Bunch. And everybody else was like, fuck you, man. I like fucking rock and roll and all this. So Greg went on stage. He was going to be... he's going to write this song, and the song that he sang went, birds never laughed before, and raindrops never grew, ponies never ran, and then somebody comes on and starts playing. It's a brilliant film. You should watch it.
It sounds amazing.
It is.
I
It is
can't
amazing.
wait.
Oh, watch it. It's good. But yeah, they did a reboot. So yeah, it could be the Brady Bunch or Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf isn't a bad answer, actually. Because the question isn't specific. It doesn't say whether, you just get to be yourself in the show, or whether you...
Well, you came up with the question, Nadine, so you set the rules, didn't you?
All right, well, you'd be yourself, just plunked in a show. In which case, I guess you'd go with Red Dwarf, would you?
Yeah, because you could just lie around all day, you wouldn't work, everything would be free, you'd have a bed, spaceships. As Red Dwarf goes on, they seem to have more and more control, don't they?
What do you think, Rufus?
He won't say anything.
No.
You can't get him to speak, although when somebody knocks the door, he goes absolutely mental. When you go to the toilet...
That heavy breathing, by the way, is
when you
not
go to the
me,
toilet, right, I'll hold him by the door, and you go to the bottom of the stairs, and then I'll let him go, right? And he just makes this insane noise where you're right to think you're going to be attacked or something like that. It's like,
Well, he did try and bite my feet before.
oh yeah, and he bites your feet on the way down as well.
Here's another one for you, right? Let's pretend that we're making a British Mount Rushmore type thing.
Right.
Who gets to go on Mount Rushmore?
Are these really your questions?
I'm nodding.
Somebody sitting at home going, I could be listening to a science podcast. I could be learning all about...
Well, we could put a scientist on Mount Rushmore.
No, these maybe I'll answer these next week once I've had a
good time to
good
ponder on
long
them.
think about them.
Oh, talking to strangers in public. Like when you're walking on like a country road and a stranger walks past and they go, "Afternoon." We discussed this briefly in work the other
Funny
day.
enough, I saw that on This England or This Country.
No way.
Have you seen This Country?
No, I don't. What
you
is
don't
it?
watch anything good.
I don't watch telly.
You do. You just watch rubbish telly.
No, I don't watch live TV. So if something gets advertised on like BBC or something, I don't see it because I don't see it advertised. And I don't even know that it existed.
What?
But what point did they make about this?
They were just they were going to go to the Steam Fair. Because Kerry likes...
Is this like a sitcom or a...
It's like a BBC sitcom. It's like a gentle sitcom about two kids that live in like rural Dorset or something like that.
Yeah.
And he won't leave you alone. I'm gonna have to kick him out.
Lie down.
And they live in Dorset anyway, and it just shows their life, and it's just them wandering about, having nothing to do, and doing nothing.
So what point did they make about...
So they were walking along, and they were going to go to the Steam Fair, but it was Kerry's birthday, so Curtin decided to hang one of those banners on a bridge for her birthday, and he walked her out there, and then they got lost, and then they were walking around, and they bumped into a guy, and as they were walking past, Curtin just goes, "All right," and he just ignores them entirely. He goes, "Look at that! Who does that? Arseholes do that." And I thought, yeah, you're right. I should take this clip and send it to Nadine, but I just couldn't be asked. Too busy doing ketchup. Ketchup things to do, important stuff.
Too busy making labels for your ketchup.
I think it's wrong. I don't know, not wrong, but like if I'm walking, this really annoyed me. I said this to Hal the other day. I was walking toward the school, and there was a big, fat, disgusting-looking man with a dog walking along, and he must have been about, 55, 60, something like that. And he walked past, and he looked at me. He was looking at me. He had eye contact with me. He initiated that, yeah?
Right.
And I'm walking with Will, and as he looked at me, I looked at him, and I went, "All right." And he just continued to stare at me, and I thought, "You're retarded. That's not what you do. You don't look at people and just watch them as you walk past." Got really annoyed. So I said to William really loudly, "Look at that fat, stupid man." So I'm quite confrontational in that sense.
But why don't you just avoid eye contact with him? Eye contact's a two-way thing. I can't make eye contact with you if you don't give it back.
If I look up and somebody's directly looking at me, I can't just look up. If I look away, I'm the arsehole. Because then he
might have been just about to go, "Hey, you right?" And then I would go, "All right," and that would be that. But you don't just look away.
You really overthink this stranger thing.
If you catch eye contact with somebody in the street and it's for longer than like a second, then you'd probably say "all right" if you're within distance. I mean, if he's across the road, I'm not going to shout "all right," But if you're like 3 or 4 meters apart and you've both caught eyes, you just say hello to somebody, didn't you, as you're walking past?
I don't do that, Rob.
Well, then see, you're one of these arseholes. And especially these young men that walk along and they've got this face on that goes, "Oh, I'm proper hard, me." And then you catch eyes with them and they just carry on looking at you. They don't even change their expressions and say, "Oh, I'm an hard bloke. It's not going to be me that's going to say first. Oh, that's a weakness. Oh, no. You just think, "Oh, you utter arse in your tight T-shirt with your muscles. Try not to be gay."
Why don't you just not look at people if it bothers you so much?
Well, because I'm quite friendly. I'm quite polite. If I catch eyes with somebody, I say hello. But it's the same kind of thing as if you're driving along and you let somebody out and they don't wave.
Oh, that's annoying.
How is that different to you? It's exactly the same thing.
Because I've literally done someone a favour and they haven't acknowledged the favour. Whereas if a stranger...
You haven't really done him a favour. Sometimes I'd be driving along and then somebody will stop and I just think, you don't need to stop there. This road is massive. Why are you stopping to try and make me say thank you to you? I don't need you to stop. I'll just squeeze past you. It's absolutely fine. It's like those people
I guess it depends on the circumstances.
It's like them people when you walk in towards a door or something like that and they open the door and it's like 100 feet away.
I don't like that.
You're like, you're not helping me.
Sometimes if there's an alternative door, I'll go through the alternative door just to teach them a lesson. Stop doing that.
Oh no, that's weird again.
Why is that weird? I'm teaching them a lesson. Stop doing that.
Because it's not. Well, see, now I would walk past and I might say something as well. I say I'm 100 feet away. So I was I make something good a joke. I do a lot of that. I do a lot of that whole funny half truth, where you sort of It's
a bit passive aggressive.
It's not. It's quite aggressive because it means that the next thing that you have to say to me is either. If you've got a problem with it, you'll have to address that. Like if I said to you, I was 100 feet away, you don't need to open the door for me. And then they say, well, I did, and then we're in it.
Then it's fisticuffs, is it?
No, but it's definitely rude. I'm quite up for a bit of confrontation.
See, speaking of confrontation, yesterday I was on my way home from work, and I was at the roundabout by McDonald's and the bingo and that in Morriston.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody cut me up on the roundabout, right? She just pulled right out. It turned out she was heading to McDonald's, and for some reason, it really annoyed me. Not most of the time, if someone cuts me up, I just go, oh, well, never mind, and crack on with my day, but it really annoyed me. So I put my hand on my horn, and I kept it on the horn continuously until she turned in at McDonald's. And when she did turn in, my other hand was sticking out like this, giving her the finger through the window. I didn't look at her, though. And I thought, well, that was a bit of an overreaction now, wasn't it?
I don't know, every time I've been horrible on the road, I've been caught out. Well, not caught out, but something terrible has happened. Like when I was driving not far from Morriston, and I was on a roundabout, and a guy pulled out on the left-hand side of the roundabout in front of me. It was one of these... I think it was my fault, to be honest. Because it's not important. It's 2 lanes, yeah? Right? And he's got a...
this is going to be a long explanation.
You've got to slow down. You know when you've got 2 lanes in a roundabout and somebody comes out on the left, it means that they're going to cross in front of you to the junction that you're going. Anyway, this is what happened. So this guy pulled out in front of me, and as I was flicking him, I was looking to the right... As I was flicking him, and then I just drove straight into that Central Reserve. But the good thing,
you felt like a right knob.
Well, yeah, because it was like 7 a.m, and it's down by on the way to work. So everybody that works with us passed me, because that's everybody that works. It's like 1,000 people I know all driving past, going, "Boop boop, you've crashed your car." I go, "Yeah, no, thanks." I'm standing there with my mini Metro with loads of smoke coming out of it. The only good thing is that loads of people have been telling me, with the mini Metro, right, you can pump it up, the suspension, and my suspension was really stupidly low, and everybody was like, oh, you better pump that up, or you're going to have problems with that, and this and that, and I just could never be arsed. And then when I crashed into that Central Reserve, because the car was so low, I smashed into the curb and ripped the curb out of the ground, which slowed the car down, and then it stopped. Had my car been higher, I'd have gone straight over that bump, straight into this metal pole. I could have died, Nadine.
That's terrible.
Well, I was right. I got out of
the
car.
At least you would have saved the embarrassment, though, if you were dead.
No. It'd be terrible. What about my family? They'd be all like, oh, Daddy's dead. What an idiot. He was flicking somebody on a roundabout. The best part is when I hit the guy, some other guy got out of the car and said, I saw that bloke. I got his number plate. I was like, yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much. But I think it might have been my fault, because I could probably have just slowed down.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Well,
most of my road collisions have been my fault, but they haven't really been collisions. They've been, like scrapes and bumps and scratches.
No, you smashed into the back of your own car.
Well, yeah, there was that.
That was brilliant. Yeah, what it was listeners. It was
listener.
Yeah.
It'd just be Jane.
Do you know what the best part is? Yeah,
what?
Is that when you've got like when I was on the radio before, when I was on local radio, they you know everybody that's listening to you, because they're emailing in all the time, the same people. So you know that when you go there, you go, I'm going to talk to these like 40 people or whatever, and one of them is Rob, and one of them is Pete, and all this. So there'll be like one listener we'll have, and we'll probably get to know him. He'll send us an email and go, my name's Gavin. I've been listening for the last 3 weeks. Be like, how many viewers have we got? We'll refresh the page to see, and it'll still be like one download. And you go,
it's just be Gavin.
It's Gavin listening.
You're right, Gav.
And then we can just address everything to him. Like, if he likes songs, we'll talk about those bands.
He'd be like the fourth member.
Yeah, you go, what's that band called? Fat Larry. Gavin's favourite song is Fat Larry. Zoom, just one look. And then he'd be like, oh, I love this podcast. It's like they know me. No, what happened was, Nadine came into work, and she was getting rid of her car, and she was buying a new car, and she was like, I'm so excited about my car, and she was talking about it all the time, and it was like, yeah, I gotta get a car. And then she put up on Facebook these pictures of people that had crashed their cars with statuses above it, like, look at this fool, they crashed their car. And then she went to pick up the car, and her husband drove her old car, and then she got in, and within minutes, drove into the back of her own car, and then had to come into work and be like, oh, crashed my car.
That's not quite how it panned out. The meme I put up on Facebook was after I'd crashed my car, because it just happened to come up on Reddit, and I thought, oh, well, that relates. But what had happened was I wanted a new car. I spent months finding the right car for me, finally bought one. My husband drove me to go get the car in his car, which was a brand new car. It was less than a year old at the time. Yeah. And so I picked up my new car, super excited. I followed him home, and within 3.5 minutes of setting off in my new car, I crashed my car into the back of his car. His car wasn't that damaged, but my car, the mechanic said it would have been a complete write-off, just an economic write-off. So I just got it all fixed up, and it was back on the road. But it was very embarrassing, because when I got into work the next day, somebody said, oh, did you get your car? And I was like, yeah, I got the car. It wasn't the next day, because the next day I had to drive it to a garage, and it was all smashed up, and I had bits of number plate on the seat next to me, and I just drove all the way there. I go, my car. I was gutted, and then it was another 2 weeks or something before I could drive it again.
I haven't had any full.
But I haven't crashed it since,
no.
So. You know.
I've had a couple of crashes. I crashed into that woman at the lights. She looked properly shocked.
Well, you would be, though.
It was her own fault. You know when you're driving along and then somebody's about to go through lights and it's like orange or something, so you think they're going to do it because they've already sort of crossed the line? Well, that's what she did. And then she just stopped her car, and I went straight into the back of her. But then I was all like, poof, oh, I've crashed the car. And then I looked up and she got out of the car. She was like, oh, my God. Honestly, it was really weird. I think she got down on her knees and everything. She was like,
how bad was the damage?
It wasn't bad at all.
Not for that reaction.
To the point that I took my car to Jeff and he got some cable ties and sorted out the front of my car. It wasn't a big deal at all. But I think she obviously claimed for whiplash or whatever. And there was nothing I could do, really. So, what can you do? And the other crash I had was the big crash. I told you about that.
The roundabout one?
No, that wasn't a big crash. That was a humorous crash, if anything. I was very happy because I got out of the car and I was like, I could have died. Look, if this hadn't been wow, I've been saved by my own laziness.
The best kind of being saved.
No, the big crash was I got a Peugeot 208 because I used to buy a car a year. And I had a Peugeot 208, and it was diesel, but it wasn't turbo diesel, so it was just stupidly slow. So if you wanted to get up to any kind of speed, you'd try and maintain that speed. So I had, I was driving along, I was driving to Merthyr, and I was driving 110 miles an hour or whatever, yeah? Because once you got the speed, I just kept it going, and then you can do it with the hills as well, if you know where you are. So I must have been driving, I probably wasn't 100. It was probably about 100, yeah? And I was driving, and as I was coming up the hill, there was no snow at all anywhere, right? And as I was coming up the hill, there was a car in front of me doing 50 or whatever, yeah, like an old person. So when we got to the top of the hill, I turned to overtake them to come out from the side, and as soon as we hit the top of the hill, it was like Narnia, yeah? It was on the way to Merthyr, it was just snow everywhere, yeah? And as soon as I turned the car, I just lost control of the car, and I remember thinking at that exact moment, I just think, oh, you've got no control over a car when you're doing 100 miles an hour. Now I understand what they're saying. Right? The whole car turned, and I went sliding sideways up the hill, left, and then I panicked, and I started sliding into the oncoming traffic, so I turned the steering wheel to the left, to try and turn the car around, and then it just turned around, and now I was sliding right up the hill, like that way, and then I just realised I was completely out of control of the car, so I just closed my eyes, and I just prepared myself for uber pain, right? I was just like, right, any second now, there's going to be some, it's going to be terrible. It's going to really hurt. And I had ages to think this. Yeah, I was like, any second, it's probably going to go through my head. I better get ready, right? And then the car smashed into the side of this tree, and the lucky thing was it hit in that joint between the door and the engine, so it's like that pillar, so it was all right. And then as soon as I hit the car, all this smoke came out and everything like that, and I opened my eyes. I was like, I'm all right. And I undid my seatbelt, and I reached down, I took all my Mr. Tom bars, because I took them all out of the car. I better give these are important, right? And then I got out of the car and I stood there, and once again it was on the way to where I was going off to teach drums, and all these people that I knew were just passing and slowing down and going, you alright, Rob? And I'm going, yeah, crashed my car. And they're going, well, if you need anything. And I go, no, you're alright.
Got me Mr. Tom boys, I'll be okay.
And that's the thing you've got to remember as well. If you crash your car, don't ring the AA or nothing. Ring the police. Because the police come along and take your car away, whilst the AA charge you like £150 to take your car away. So,
but I've got roadside breakdown cover.
Yeah, but they still charge you. There's some charge going on. Can't remember what it is when you crash a car. Because roadside comes and helps you. They don't take your car away, do they? I'm not too sure.
Well, my cover will tow me to a garage within so many miles.
Was it?
Or take me home.
If there's a smash.
Yeah. So they'll take my car to where I want it to go, and if I'm outside of a particular boundary, then they'll just take it home for me. So say if I'm up in Scotland and I crash, they will tow my car back to my house. But if I'm in Swansea somewhere, they'll tow it to a garage.
I think they charge you for that though.
Yeah, I pay them for it. I pay them for breakdown cover. I pay them monthly, like you would health insurance, whatever.
Oh, the AA, right? When I had
But did you pay for AA cover, or did you just ring them on the fly?
No, I paid for AA cover. When I had my little Renault 5, it used to break down like every other day, and I used to ring the AA, and they'd come and they'd start it. And then after a year, they just upped the price, man, without telling you. It went up from whatever the normal price is to something like £270. I had to ring them up and get my money back. They didn't even alert me to the fact that it was happening. They said, well, you are a constant user. I was like, yeah, I've got a rubbish car, haven't I? What do you mean? So I had to.
You should have seen this coming.
Funnily enough, since I've had the Land Rover, it's been right reliable.
Oh, that's good. But you don't go anywhere in the Land Rover.
Well, that's why I don't swear at anybody either, because if they chase me, they'll catch me. I'm only doing about 35 or 40. I can't get away from anybody. It's terrible. But but when I did that crash, what I always thought was really funny, it just shows you how stupid I am. When the police arrived and I was sitting in the police car with the policeman, I was talking to him and I was just saying things like, yeah, and I was doing 100 miles an hour as well, mate. And because we're in Wales, he was all like, oh, well, you don't want to do that. I was like, no, I know, I've really learnt. I won't drive that speed anymore. He's like,
and I'm drunk.
It was that kind of thing, though. I was just confessing all these terrible things. So that's why I bought the Land Rover, because you can't do 100 miles an hour in it. Because every car I had, which was, I was spending like, £300, £400 on a car, I was driving them all at 100 miles an hour. Yeah, I mean,
why?
Because I wanted to get to where I was going. And when you drive from Swansea to Merthyr, you drive on this A348 or 438 or something like that. Yeah, and it literally is just like one long race course. It's like being on the motorway.
Every road's a race course if you want it to be.
Like if you're on the motorway, there's tons of people on the motorway. Yeah, and you go in the fast lane, but there's still cars in front of you stuff. But on this road, it's people driving to the valleys. They're not driving particularly fast, and they're all on the left, and you can just literally drive with your foot down all the way to Merthyr if you wanted. It's like 3 roundabouts, and then it's just a straight road. So I used to do that every day. Because you do it every day, you get into the habit of it, then you just drive it. So I used to drive like that. But I had another car. It was a Rover 214. This is all very car-oriented. Rover 214.
Why are we talking about cars? We never normally talk about cars.
We're talking about crashes.
Oh, yeah.
But when I took it back to the guy after that broke, one of the wheels fell off. I still drove it home with the wheel hanging off. Yeah, I literally drove about 10 miles an hour all the way home with this wheel hanging off. But when I took it to this guy to fix it, he put a jack underneath it and he lifted it up, and the weight of the car on the jack made all of the underfloor fall off. Yeah, so you could see through the floor. Yeah, all of it just came off, and I just thought, oh my God, I've had that at 100 miles an hour. A car that you can't even lift up on a jack. So, yeah, there's all these culminating reasons that made me get a slow car.
Well, the top speed of my car is only like 92, because it's only 1.1.
You'd be surprised, man, if you find yourself on a really steep hill, you put your foot
going down,
you
mean?
Yeah,
going down.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, if I was going down a steep hill, I'm sure I'd get more than that.
Yeah.
But going uphill, it's quite difficult to do that at speed. I can go uphill at 40, any more than 40, and it properly struggles.
I'm not in that world anymore. I drive everywhere like I'm in the Archers. I have a long queue of
you
people
say
behind me.
that, but when you were on your way to work one day and I saw you at the roundabout, I struggled to keep up with you.
Well, I say that I drive slow, but on my car, I'm not 100% what the speed is.
Yeah, it was more than 30. It was way more, because I think I was going like 45 trying to keep up with you on that road up to work. Lie down. Good boy. So
see, I told you, like, my dog, you're brilliant.
I know, everybody says, oh, you like my dog, and every single one of them has been wrong.
But that's what...
No, you were first. You were a good boy. What make is he, anyway?
He's a bearded collie.
A bearded collie?
But we cut him because he doesn't like the fur. But that's the same thing.
Would he be really, really fluffy if you did cut him?
He'd have long hair.
Do they do, like, a micro bearded collie? Can you get one of those?
No, he looks a bit like a West
bit
Highland Terrier, but bigger. But it's the same when you go around to people's houses and they say, oh yeah, you'd like my dog, and then you get there and they've got like an Alsatian, their whole house smells of dog and everything's covered in fur.
Ugh.
Yeah, he's not like that.
No, he's been all over me and I've got like one fur.
He doesn't molt.
What happens to all his fur then? Or does it all just like come off at the same time?
It doesn't come off.
Well, it just stays there forever?
Yeah.
Does it stay there forever and ever? Yeah. If you didn't groom him, would he be really, really, really fluffy?
I don't groom him. I just let him mat up and then I shave him.
Oh, well, if you didn't shave him, would he have like loads of thick, long fur?
Yeah. He'd have long hair.
Do you shave him?
No. I take him to like a woman who puts him in like a confusing contraption that he hangs from the ceiling and he just looks really sort of, take me home. And you're like, nah, mate.
Oh, bless. Do you not like getting your hair cut, Rufus? Do you not like getting your hair cut?
Oh, he's quite pliable. He just likes being touched, which is why he won't leave you alone. Rufus!
Down.
Hey!
Lie down.
Rufus!
I do like him though. And I'm not a dog person normally. I'm not. I do like doggies normally, but you are a good boy. Yes, you are.
Oh man, Gavin's sitting in the house. Stop talking about dogs! I'm a cat person! I've had enough of this!
I've got cats as well, Gavin.
Something?
Is it not recording anymore?
Oh yeah, it went wonky for a second. I think it was that lead.
Oh.
I might have moved.
Don't move.
It's this technical thing that will let us down, I imagine.
Probably.
As soon as I said it, though, I imagine somebody shouting at their computer going, it's not! Shit terrible ideas about 1986.
Sex robots.
Yeah.
And your generalisations about nations liking or not liking dogs.
Yeah. I read somewhere the other day, I'm a xenial.
What's a xenial?
Well, prior to me is the Generation X.
Yeah.
And then I'm supposed to be part of Generation X, I think. But recently they've said no. There's a cusp of people between Generation X and Millennials, and they're called xenials.
Maybe I fit the bill for that then. Maybe I'm not a millennial. But I am a millennial. I've googled it many times and cross-referenced.
Why?
I don't know, because everyone's always talking about these millennials and how they're snowflakes. So I thought, yeah, fucking snowflake. Oh fuck, I'm one of them. I'm not easily offended, and I don't like avocado. I do like a flannel shirt, but I just don't feel like when these people are talking about millennials that they're really talking about me. But
I have loads of flannel shirts. In fact, the whole change in culture has bypassed me. I'm pretty sure, like when I was young and I used to look at people, do you remember Hale and Pace? Mm-hmm. And they used to have like two heavy metal characters. I remember being like, I don't know, 10 or 11 and seeing these people and think, look at them people from the past and their flares and their, you know, and that sort of way that they look. And then I realised when I was wearing, remember when I told you and I said boot cut jeans, apparently they're not cool. Yeah,
it's all about the skinny jeans now.
Yeah, I didn't
Which
realise.
I think are awful on men.
I don't like them.
If you're a man and you wear skinny jeans, fuck off.
Oh, you've just alienated all of our possible listenership. There might be like 2 people listening to us. We're looking at our stats every day going, how many people have listened to our podcast? There's 2 guys. And then the next week after saying this, there'll be none. And we'll be like, oh, there's 2 guys, they were skinny jeans wearers. Or one was a skinny jean wearer, the other one was the Ethiopian with the pets. And we just fucked them both off.
And that's it. I know you ruined it with your Ethiopian comment, and I ruined it with. I'm sorry, skinny jeans do look okay on some people. I retract that statement. Love skinny jeans.
I don't like skinny jeans.
No, me neither. I was lying when I said I liked them. I
dislike skinny jeans. I dislike, and I think this goes through culture forever. I dislike the gap between your shin and your foot.
Yeah, well, you've been through this in detail in your diagrams.
Because there's lots of things, isn't there? There's like in the 50s and stuff they had spats. In the 60s they had and 70s they had flares. In the 80s they had leg warmers. In the 90s they had baggy jeans. Everybody is achingly trying to pursue getting rid of this awful gap between your legs and your feet. And as soon as you wear skinny jeans, it just makes your feet look like these huge bananas, these massive...
They do, especially when wearing those Converse shoes, which are very popular as well amongst skinny jean wearers. And
Converse?
Yeah, like these.
What? I can't see them. Oh, those?
Yeah, these aren't Converse.
Old man shoes.
Because Converse are really uncomfortable, but these are like a knockoff Converse, which are way more comfortable. But
when I see them, I just think of old man shoes.
Yeah, but they're very popular. They're the
I
Converse.
picture some old man standing in the
jeans.
house going, right, I've got to go somewhere, and I've got to look trendy and slick. What am I going to wear? I know, I'll wear my all-star Converse. Can't go wrong with them.
They do come in loads of cool design. I got some Batman ones, and I love them, but I can't wear them because it's just too uncomfortable. Don't like them.
Well, and because they say Batman on them.
That's why I like them, Rob.
Oh,
Who doesn't love Batman shoes?
I'm not a lover. I saw somebody wearing them like Van slip-on,
I like Vans.
slipper-esque things.
Yeah, they're comfy.
And they had like loads of Little Mermaid pictures on them.
Oh.
I didn't like them either.
Oh, they sound quite nice. I quite like those.
No,
I need to wee again though. You've sank too much tea my way. Drank way too much tea.
You only had 3 cups.
I know, but I've only got a little bladder, Rob. Can I go and have a wee?
Well, we've done 38 minutes.
Well, that went really quick.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, this is why we were on the radio for 8 hours. It's because we enjoy our own conversation.
And you just hope that someone else might.
Yeah, I doubt it, mate. But it's worth being on the web, because I always think to myself that if I die, there'll be like a record, like my children will be like, oh, my dad's dead. Oh, what can I do? I can go and listen to him waffle on for hours and hours and hours. Oh, listen to him talk about 1986. He likes coins.
Oh, that's quite a nice thought, actually.
Yeah, it's like a record, isn't it? When I was younger, I used to think what would be a good idea was on gravestones. I'm sure everybody's thought of this. On gravestones, you have like a recording where you can press like a button, you can walk up to a grave and it'll say like Dorothy Mills died in 1992 or whatever, and you press a button and it comes on and she goes, all right, I'm Dorothy Mills. I lived up by the church. I used to like bread and walking and chatting, and you'd be like, oh, this woman's brilliant. You sit there and listen to like an hour and a half of this woman
it's
bang
like the
on.
grave of the future.
Yeah, well, that's what I always thought, but I don't think they can do that. And then people always make it more, don't they? So now you'd have a video as well, wouldn't you? But then I don't know if I'd want to see a video. I'd quite like just to be able to hear. You could just walk through all the graves and press this button and hear like an hour-long recording of somebody describing what it was like. And I was really annoyed. Everybody was wearing bloody Converse shoes with Batman on them. And I thought, I'm bloody too old for this, innit? But now I'm not part of the gang anymore. I had to go and buy my own bloody Batman Converse shoes. Didn't suit me at all. I had massive banana feet, I did, with my skinny jeans.
Don't let me laugh, because I still need to wee.
But yeah, that's what I think would be cool. I would spend hours in graveyards then. It'd be brilliant. Especially if you...
It's a bit weird, though. Imagine if you were, like, listening to someone's recording and their family came over to pay their respects and you're like, oh, fucking Dorothy. And they're fucking Converse. And you turn around and all their family, because you don't know how long ago she died.
They'd be crying, they'd be like, oh, you want me to pause it now? They're good, you pause
Start
it.
again.
You just be sitting there while they're going, oh.
Coming over for their annual listen, and you're just there ruining it for them.
Yeah, we miss you, Dorothy, we miss you, Dorothy. She's like, come on, she's talking about...
Get to the bit where she talks about the Converse shoes. That's my favourite bit.
Yeah.
Who are you? Just a fan. What time is it?
It's 10:43.
Oh, shit. Right. We better wrap this up because I gotta get going.
What, to do your experiment with
Yeah,
you?
I gotta go get bitten by some mosquitoes and to see if I've got skeeter syndrome.
Well, we've recorded an hour of waffle. I don't know how interesting that waffle was, but it'll be our first one.
We lost it with the cars in the end, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah.
In the middle bit.
It's our first one, so maybe it'll get better.
It will get better. because we can't talk about cars every week. Cars are boring, man. No one likes cars.
I don't want to talk about cars. I was talking about my
Rufus
amazing,
more.
interesting crashes in cars. I just mentioned what cars they were. Just, in case somebody was interested. The cars we've discussed have been a Renault 5, a Rover 214, a Land Rover, a Peugeot 208.
I've got a Fiat Panda.
Yeah.
I love my Fiat Panda. It's blue. I wanted a yellow one, but it's blue.
I wanted a yellow car as well, but I thought it might be a bit too much with a Land Rover. Driving around.
Land Rover.
Sometimes you see people driving around with Land Rovers with sirens on the top, as if they're somebody important, as if they're like an emergency service or something.
Had like big lights on the top of his.
That's different. The lights,
It wasn't a siren, but
that's
it was pretty bright.
That's like a cheesy male thing, isn't it? Where they go and buy that, and they go and buy all the kit for a Land Rover. Let's off road, and then they've got all of that.
But for now, it's bye-bye from me. Bye! It's bye-bye from Rufus. Say bye-bye, Rufus. He's a good boy. Yes, he is. Oh, he's a good boy.
Yeah, and our programme is called Full of Waffle, and we'll have to record some jingles for it. So maybe I'll have done that by the time this comes out and you've heard those jingles. But maybe I haven't, and there'll be no jingles. But in the future, there'll be jingles. Maybe you could email us, and that would give us a reason to constantly jingle about our email address. I don't know if we're going to be an interactive
We don't
podcast.
have an email address yet. We do have a domain, fullofwaffle.com. That's ours. We haven't got a website up and running just yet. But I will do a Facebook page, which, if it's available, will be called Full of Waffle at Facebook, so they can contact us via that. And I will also upload some pictures of Rufus onto the page, and some pictures of my, hopefully, mosquito bites from later on this afternoon. That's what we were talking about.
Don't do that. That'd be like them awful plaster pictures you'd be putting up.
Maybe it will. But I'll definitely put up a picture of Rufus, because I took a nice selfie with me and Rufus earlier.
I can't imagine why we'd want people to email us at the moment, though.
I don't know either. But and also maybe we can have a hashtag on Instagram, hashtag Full of Waffle. I'll start hashtagging things Full of Waffle. It'll only be my own like cartoons and shit. You can search me by hashtag crap comics. If you wanted to, I do a web comic. It's very unpopular. But you can if you want.
I have no way of being contacted and have nothing to sell at the moment.
I got t-shirts.
Have you?
No, not yet. But I do have to go because I gotta go get bitten by some mosquitoes. So I'll let you know how that goes next week.
Yeah. Keep me updated. I really want to know.
I bet you do.
Right. Okay. Well, see you later.
Play the jingle.